Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday, big day, vibe kind of a day. Uh, I don't know, man. It's earnings, Nvidia earnings. It's either hell will break loose today, or we're gonna see the what do you call this AI stock moving very high. So today it's Nvidia earning. Uh, what are your expectations? Where are your expectations? Oh, come on, this thing is slow. But anyway, where do we start? Where do we start? Um, yeah, a lot is happening today. Make sure I'm all set. I hope I'm audible. I hope I'm audible. I wanted to try something, hey? I wanted to try something, but it's fine. Uh, but it's fine. I wanted to try something. Ngifuna try something. We're gonna start now. I'm just quickly trying to see if whatever I want to try to do. Let me try it. Let me try it. Let me try it. Okay. I'm trying to do something here. I hope it will allow me. I'm just wasting my time. It might not work. I want to add a text. Image. Okay, text. Okay. I wanted to create a text. Yeah, it doesn't allow me to. But anyway, today it's NVIDIA. I'm gonna start now. Konje, how do I do this? Oh, Christ. So what I want to do, I'm live on TikTok as well. So as you're joining, please pardon me. We're gonna start now. It's NVIDIA, so there won't be a lot of movement just before now. There won't be any volume before until then. So I'm just gonna wait. It's NVIDIA. And what was interesting today also in the AM there was Australian CPI. So we'll discuss that. But I wanted to put something here. Uh, Malala, go to sleep. Trumbo. Oh, Malala, go to sleep. Where is she? Oh, I don't know. If I'm not winning, then I'll leave it for today because it says text. But when I want to add those texts, it doesn't allow me to. I hate this technology stuff. Okay, this is images. Okay, it doesn't allow me to. Okay, it's fine. I'll do it another day. I think I'll do it another day. I think I know what to do. I know what to do. I think I know what to do. Anyway, I want to try this if it will work. If it doesn't, I'll stop it. But anyway, welcome to the New York close session. Uh, Today we are trading the New York close. Today it's Nvidia earnings day. So there won't be any much movement right now in the market. And if you're on TikTok for full chatting, go to YouTube. I wanted to add that, but I guess um, technology is overwhelming me today. So I won't do much. But if you want to see for the full charting and the full analysis, you can go okay, stickers. This has stickers though. I want a text. Okay. Anyway, this doesn't allow me to. Anyway, this doesn't allow me to. Okay. Anyway, uh, where do I put this? So, let's start, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's earnings day. Where do we start? We start with Nvidia. Let's go straight to Nvidia. I don't expect any movement between Nasdaq and I don't expect any huge movement for Nasdaq and S&P 500, including US 30. Uh, but what I can say is, so I'm waiting for a 5 minute adjustment to 5 minutes fair value gap. If that happens, then I will be looking for a position to the upside. Only if that can happen. However, since we're waiting for earnings, let's look at Nvidia chatting and Nvidia earnings. What do you call this? My English is gone, but earnings ideas or earnings focused. So let's start Nvidia. Nvidia. Okay. So the question now still remains: are we gonna get a huge move on Nasdaq or not? And that will, I mean, that will be determined by the Nvidia stocks. Um, it's either it will drag the entire market down or it won't. So let's see. So, so estimated earnings today. Uh, the estimated revenue is about 66.13 billion rand. That's what's forecasted. Can this change? Can this give us something we could fall into? So for a full chatting, go to YouTube chat, search for Aparafumo. That's where you'll see a full chatting and my trade markups and all that. So most of the stuff are on YouTube. I'm just, yeah. Earnings. Let's go to earnings. I didn't pay for this. I should stop paying for this, I'm thinking. So estimated, the estimate for today, because I think we are reporting 2025 fourth quarter earnings, the estimated is 1.54 earnings for basic US dollars. Uh, and then the report we'll see what will be reported today. Let's wait for the report. What are your expectations though as we go for the earnings? What are your expectations? Nvidia, Nvidia basically either hell all of hell will break loose today, or we could interesting people that I see here. Um, either hell will break loose. Oh, it's gonna look good. Look wow. I have an idea. So, look, how do I put this right? I'm just thinking, yeah. So today it's either that Nvidia, if we get a miss in Nvidia, it's gonna drag all the the technology and the AI stocks down with it. Or if we beat expectations, if we beat expectations, but the forward outlook is still more than the expected earnings that Nvidia received. So what might happen there? We might also push that might also drag Nvidia slightly lower, even though expectations it's met. But given the fact that the forward outlook is still expecting more than what Nvidia delivered today, so I think Nvidia is very important today. But I'm going to start with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. That's how we start our stream. For better stream and a better quality, just go to YouTube, look for Lagarfumo and Capital, and then I'm streaming there. I'm showing all my chatting and my financial statement, including the Edge Finder outlook, micro outlook. Okay, let's start. Okay, on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange close today, um, RMB Holdings was leading the chart with 64 million shares traded today, but just on a break even. There is no movement on it. It was just on a break even. Old Mutual as part of the top five most active stocks, as always. But when we move to the top gainers, on the top gainers, surprisingly, we have Valterra Platinum, which is up 10%. Northern Platinum, it's up 5%. Goldfields, it's up 5%. Impala Platinum, it's up 4.6%. Anglo Ashanti, it's up 4.63%. I'm more interested in what's happening with the mining sector. I'll be looking at the charting and see what's happening with the mining sector in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange today. And remember, today there was what do you call this? There was English is gone. What do you call this? Interesting. I can't think on top of my head right now. But today the Minister of Finance was delivering their budget speech. There was budget speech today, so that could have helped the market as well. On the top loser side, we have Sasol, which is down 4%, Mondi and Bitcoin down 3.98 and 3.58%, Hence is down 2.47, Napier Rock Castle is down 2.46%. Um, on the top loser side, and the Johannesburg Stock Exchange Top 40 Index, it's up 1.47%. And I think this could be coming up, will be coming out from the budget speech today. Uh, Maybe the investors love the budget speech for the day. So that was interesting for me to see that they do like uh, the budget speech where, look, the SA Top 40, it's up 1.4%. Okay, if you're on YouTube, for the past few days, I've been speaking about the Australian CPI as well. But before we get to that, as I said, for full chatting, you can go on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube as well, Lahore Former Capital. But I've been speaking about, what am I doing? Uh, I've been speaking about the Johannesburg Stock Exchange that I'm slowly accumulating the Satrix Top 40 Index. So basically, it's an ETF that really tracks the SA Top 40. And I think if you're on YouTube, you'll see the markup where I was looking for those entries. I'm gonna still continue accumulating that. If we're to look at the performing of the SA Top 40 Index, For the week, it's up 6.6%. Monthly, it's up 3.8%. Year to date, it's up 9%. So, Mr. Gue. So, how are you, brother? Greetings. It's a friend of mine that I used to stay with in Cape Town. Anyway, what I was saying was, so if you invested, if you bought the SA Top 40 directly, it's up 9.9 year to date, it's up 9.9%. But when you look at Cetrix Top 40 index, the Cetrix Top 40 index, wait, just look, just gonna give you an accurate how high year to date it is today. Just looking, oh, come on. I don't think this is the one that I'm looking for. But the Citrix Top 40 index year to date, it's up 6%. So if you bought the Citrix Top 40, taking securities basically you'll be up 6% from the for year to date. But I'm looking for the top 40 index directly. Citrix J. Can we see here? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Mm, come on, man. Show me what I want. Sometimes I hate this kind of stuff. Oh, don't be surprised. When I'm looking at things, I'm just on live on YouTube. I am showing Citrix. Sometimes I get confused. Citrix. Citrix. Okay, I'll find it here. Here we go. Yeah, found it. No. So either way, if you buy the securities as a top 40 portfolio index, you are roughly about between 4% to 6% from year to date. On a 3 month basis, it's up 49%. 1 year, it's up 41%. So that's why I'm still continuing to accumulate. As we get retracement lower, I am still going to accumulate the SA Top 40 index. I think personally, I am not going to stop accumulating it. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not getting. I don't know if today I'm crazy or what. I'm just gonna share now. Just if you wanna see the chatting and what I'm talking about, you can go to YouTube. Da-da-dum. Okay. Anyway, so you're roughly up if you invested in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange Top 40 Index, you are roughly up between 4 to 6% or to 9% year to date. So that is why I'm happy with the JSE Top 40 Index for the past few days. It's been moving similar to what gold has been moving like. Um, and that could be coming out from the fact that maybe SA has been benefiting from that. And a month or 3 weeks back, the government have sold about 2 billion worth of bonds to foreign investors. So that was good news for the Johannesburg for the JSE and South Africa in general. But however, that might be have been caused by lower by the rand losing value given the labor market issues, given the inflation issue in the USA. And then we've seen the dollar losing a bit of value against the rand. And then we have seen now investors jumping into buying the Johannesburg's top 40 index. I mean, to buying South African bonds. And at some point, they bought up to $2 billion of South African bonds. That I found interesting that time. And that was something else. But anyway, moving into gold, I said the JSE's top 40 index today it's up 1.4%. Gold's up 0.3%, which, yeah, it's a good move though. Good move. Broke out from 5,076 ounce per $5,076 per ounce. Just broken out from that resistant area. Could it give us a retest for us to still buy gold? We'll see with that. Uh, that was it. But anyway, moving into the H finder, let's just see what we missed today. Malanda, Malanda, come here. What? Come say hi to Mr. Gui. Come say hi to Papa Abi. Huh? Come say hi to Papa Abi. Not Nini. Say hi, Papa Abi. You know he's there. Say hi, Mr. Gui. Say hi, Mr. Gui. Say Mr. Gui hi. That's fine. I'm gonna go to sleep, ne? Say bye. Good night. Go to sleep. Good night. High five. Even if you're angry. Oh. Sure, man. He's old now. I think the last time I was with you, he was he was just a baby. Oh, we were still pregnant. Yeah, he's old. He's an old boy now. It's crazy. Anyway, so for today there was Australian CPI, and I think on TikTok I've discussed the issue with Australian CPI and why I've been bullish for the Aussie dollar. So today in the morning, I think 2:30 a.m. there was Australian CPI where month over month came out at 0.4%, while the forecast was 0.2%. Year over year forecast was 3.7%, and it came out at 3.8%. And that's roughly a very hot inflation data, and that has still propelled me to be very bullish on the Australian dollar. And I've already discussed this on a video before to say just go back and watch the videos that I've uploaded. But on the discussion, I've picked up that inflation is a bit of a problem in Australia, and it's forcing the Reserve Bank to be more restrictive, to either increase rates trying to curb inflation. So before they've already increased rates, and they might continue increasing rates if inflation continues becoming a problem. And when you look at such macros, and basically that determines interest rate decision, the Reserve Bank decision when it comes to monetary policy. In this case, continuous hot inflation data that pushes the Reserve Bank to either cut rates, I mean, to either increase rates and to continue being more restrictive. And in that sense, that is why I'm bullish when it comes to the Australian dollar. But for that, to see what I'm talking about, go to YouTube. Okay, let's look at the top setup on the edge finder, what we are looking at, and macros are just determine and the labor market. But as I said, I'm closely watching Nasdaq. It's holding the 200 MA, and today there's Nvidia earnings. Nvidia earnings might be giving us, if earnings are good, we are likely gonna get a breakout holding the 200 MA and pushes to the upside. But if that does not happen with Nvidia earnings bad, it might drag the Nasdaq with it. And look, S&P 500 might follow suit as well. So on the top setup, this is what I'm talking about. I think if you're on TikTok, you can go to YouTube and see exactly what I'm talking about. Am I even audible? Oh, yes. Okay, top setup. And what's interesting is this thing's not gonna move. It's just gonna consolidate until earnings. Okay. On the top setup, on the H fund, on the bearish side, we have Euro USD. And what's interesting, let's also look at the economic heat map. Specifically, I want to speak about the Eurozone as well. There was inflation in the Eurozone, I think. Inflation in the Eurozone, the forecast was 1.7%. It came out exactly at 1.7. But still, inflation is lower in the Eurozone. One way or another, they might have to start becoming more like saying less restrictive and either even eventually cut rates. And that's a bit bearish for the euro and the pound as well. Also, the pound, we see inflation has been coming lower, gradually slower towards the 2% mark, while the inflation overall in the eurozone, it's at 1.7, where the idea was supposed to be at 2% inflation. If it goes below, it went below 1%, it went below that 2% mark. So that alone, then that forces them to either cut rates, just trying to inject money into the market. So that alone basically that forces me to be bearish for the euro and be bullish, very bullish on the Australian dollar and also the dollar as well, the USA dollar. But if you're on YouTube, you'll see the charting that I'm talking about. CPI, the forecast was 1.7%. It came out exactly at 1.7% Eurozone. There was not so much movement. That's a bit neutral for the Eurozone. But when you look at the currency itself on the meter, it still shows bullish reading. Um, and I'm going to look at the UK just also to speak about the British pound. I might as well speak about it at once. Uh, Lately, we've seen the British pound losing a bit of strength, given the fact that you look at CPI, it's exactly at 3%. That's not bad as well. But the what came out on the 18th of February was exactly 3%. That's neutral. And the actual number that came out for PPI, that's 2.5%, which is bearish, which is also deflation of some sort. I'm not saying deflation in the sense that we are we are really deflecting, but I'm just saying it's a lower number than expected. We have service PMI, manufacturing PMI, and retail sales that came out hot, and that was bullish for the UK British pound. However, in general, the stocks and Nikkei are starting to be bullish. I'm still be watching Nikkei. Beside the SA Top 40, I'm just gonna be watching the Nikkei as well to see how is it going to continue gaining strength? Because if you look at the stocks are bullish and the British pound itself, it's bearish. As I said, we're also discussing the fact that I am bearish on Euro USD. I don't even know. I didn't do a markup this morning as I was going to work. Um, Shut down this. We're still retracing to, I'm going to add my limit, but we are still retracing to my ideal. I'm looking for my ideal area where I'm hoping to get a trade from. Let me see. You know, so sometimes when you trade Forex long term, you could hold on to a trade for months and months and months, and it won't look good. So I wanted to show you something here. But unfortunately, I at one of the trade I jumped out very early. But just for argument's sake, let me show you this. I hope it's not gonna show my details missing. No. Uh, it's fine, it's not showing. It's on the other side. I have to open another tab, and I'm not interested in doing that. But anyway, uh, at some point, I was long AUD CAD. As I said, I'm bullish for Australian dollar. I was long AUD CAD. Broke above the previous resistance area. Trailed my stop loss higher. It was taken out, and I just waited for today's release of inflation data. Today's release of inflation data came out that confirms that we are still bullish for Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. However, just for interest sake, I am long uh, NZDJPY. We've been consolidating for the past week and a half. While I was on a trade, we have officially broken out from the previous support or resistant support area. We have broken to the upside. So I'm holding NZDJPY to the upside. Good move so far. I don't know if it gives a low and a break above. Perhaps I am gonna move my stop loss to that low, to that low, to that high, sorry, to that high just to secure more profit. For now, I'm gonna sit on my hand when it comes to NZDJPY. Um, but also remember NZDJPY is no longer even part of the top setup with the trade ideas that I always have. It's no longer part of the top setup, so I'm just managing the trade as we go along. What interest that do I have, and my strongest interest currently is British pound against the Australian dollar. And as I said before, I am shorting the British pound. So here I have two entries. I have an entry on this blue line there, and I have a second entry where it is now. So with my two entries, I'm already up few dollars or few rands. Doesn't matter how you call it. I'm still hoping that we come lower and we're still gonna gain strength when they come to the Australian dollar because I'm selling the British pound, and the overall and my current target will be 1.89129 as support. That's a weekly support. That's where weekly support is, and a daily support as well. So that's where I'm hoping for the move with British pound against the Australian dollar. Those are the two positions that I'm holding. What I was saying was when you hold on for trades for long, sometimes you look like a dumb cop, like I am. I look like a dumb cop because sometimes you hold on to these things and that they don't move at all. Like literally, they don't move at all. But when they start moving, it looks good. And when they move aggressively, it still looks nice. It looks like you're a boss with it. But for me, I'm just gonna hold on and stick to my plan. But as for the Aussie dollar, it's a good trade. That's all I can say. The Aussie dollar has been a good trade, and I'm still gonna continue being bullish whether for this quarter. And speaking about the Aussie dollar against the Canadian dollar, I'm gonna look for a position. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna look for a position. Yes, it gave me an opportunity today. Unfortunately, I don't know what I did. I decided not to take that opportunity. So I am gonna look for a long trade. This is interesting. I am gonna look for a long trade. Either there, that will be an aggressive. Yeah, I am gonna look for a long trade here. So as much as we've already confirmed the bullishness on retracement of support, I'm gonna look for longs, and I've already discussed the macro ideas about it. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and give me your comment and where you're watching from. So, so the idea is inflation is a problem in Australia. So if inflation is a problem in Australia, that forces the Reserve Bank to be more restrictive when it comes to their monetary policy. It's either increase rates or cut rates. So in this case, we know the previous, I think last month or early this month, they've cut rate. I mean, they've increased rates because they're trying to cap inflation. And still, when the numbers that we are seeing when it comes to inflation, and when I speak about the numbers, I'm merely focusing on CPI. We're still getting strong CPI numbers. So with the strong CPI numbers, I am still remaining bullish for the OZ. And one of the few opportunities that I'm looking for is Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. I'll be buying the Aussie. I was on the trade, but unfortunately took me out on a few profit because I trailed my stop loss to profit. And then I'm gonna look for more retracement to support again to jump on. Currently, the only risk that I have and the only positioning that I have, it's the AUD, I mean, the British pound against the Australian dollar, which is GBP AUD. I am short. If you want to see the full chatting of it, go to YouTube, Lahore Homo Capital, and subscribe then like the live and tell me what you think. But anyway, the first position was on the blue support line. That's why I entered first. Second position is we broke out from this from this 4 hour resistant area. I've entered a second position to look for continuation lower. One of the targets is our weekly support, which was at 1.89, 1.2, and 185,926. That would be a very long term. If we still see these numbers coming out, I'm going to share you the numbers on the H fund. Let's just quickly jump on to the H fund and looking merely at UK numbers. And one of the numbers, if we still continue to see lower inflation data and lower GDP data, and we start seeing CPI and retail sales still dilapidating in the Eurozone. Once we start continuously see inflation being a problem, or not necessarily a problem, but inflation coming down lower. And I always say inflation is good when it's lower uh, for us as consumers, and then for traders, they look at other things because when inflation is lower, anticipating that they'll be less restrictive when it comes to monetary policy. If they're less restrictive when it comes to monetary policy, they're likely going to cut rates. If they cut rates, and then you're starting to see that the currency will lose a bit of value. Not losing value, but basically are injecting a lot of money back into the system. And when that happens, we tend to be shorting the currency itself because the currency will be bearish for that moment. But if you're on YouTube, just jump on what the hell? Let me see. This thing is crazy. Hold on, I'm fixing something on YouTube. This thing is crazy on me. I can't do that. Sometimes streaming is annoying. Since when does it do this? Doesn't want to open the H Finder for some reason. Doesn't want to share the screen of the H Finder. So I'm trying to share that on YouTube. Because it's also one thing I love about the H Finder is it also shows us the projection of of interest rate throughout the year, what economics are basically predicting. But that once in a while it changes based on what happens with merely I love focusing on inflation, but not only inflation, also the labor market of that particular country. It's also important to look at if the labor market is dismally doing bad. The Reserve Bank of whether it doesn't matter the country, they are forced to cut rates so that they can promote hiring. Um, so one of those indicators, you look at your retail sales, you look at your service PMI, and you also be watching what happens with inflation. And in this case, we're talking about I don't know why this thing is acting on me now. Okay, let's start setting it back. Oh, hey, no, it's showing other things. Perfect. Now we are good. Okay, we are good. So what I was saying. So for a full chat, guys, or if you're on TikTok, go to YouTube. There are quite a few more. There is a full chatting idea. Basically, what I'm talking about, all the numbers that I'm talking about, you'll see it there. And the trades that I'm talking about, or investment that I'm talking about, are still there. Where was I? I wanted to speak about interest rate forecast. So it's not just kind of, what is this? Oh, sometimes they find that changes quite fast. These guys are building this thing quite fast. I'm not going to talk about economic data, inflation data, interest rate projection. Here we go. So I wanted to, so the interest rate projection in this case, I'm going to look at the British pound, the euro, which would be the eurozone, the UK, and the BOJ, because BOJ is important when it comes to its interest rate. And I think also if the interest rate in the eurozone, how do I put this right? Okay, let me put it this way. So if the interest rate in the in Japan, once we see the BOJ starting to increase rates, that might be a lead to we might start to see carry trades where people are jumping off the Japanese yen, and that might cause devastation in the forex market to say just to say the least, where you might see the dollar aggressively losing value, sometimes might even affect the stock market. So the BOG is very important in this case, because what people do normally, I'm talking about institutions that really do the stuff, what they do is, because the BOJ or Japan offers the lowest interest rate, which its current interest rate, they are at about 0.85 or 0.8. It's just back to be corrected. I'll even confirm that if you want me to. So if any idea to say they have to increase rate, we see the market flipping upside down, where you see the dollar losing strength, the British pound, also the euro, including any other currency against the Japanese yen. But anyway, I was going to speak up mainly about the USD, the British pound, and the euro. Uh, so euro, I was discussing the euro and the British pound. This year projection. So currently we are at 3.8% and 2.2% on euro and GBP or British pound interest rate. UK we're at 3.8, euros eurozone we're at 2.8, and the Japanese years were at 0.8. For the rest of the year, not really expecting much with the euro, with the Japanese yen. We might keep it flat at 0.8. But when you look at the British pound in this instance, please jump on YouTube to see full chatting if you want, Alpha for more capital, to see the numbers that I'm talking about and my trade ideas, and basically all the markup. It's on YouTube because I can't put it on TikTok. So anyway, um, when you see the first quarter of the year, we see the British UK decreasing interest rate to 3.5%. These are projection, by the way. Uh, Decreasing to 3.5%. The euro is at 2.2%. Going ahead, still the second quarter, still the same numbers. Third quarter, still the same numbers. And the fourth quarter, still the same numbers. So here it looks like the dollar will be at 3.3% by the end of the year, according to this projection, when you look at interest rate. That alone might say the rand will still gain a bit of value when you look at inflation. Only when South Africa could keep its inflation stable, not just starting to go to 4%, 5% inflation. We don't want to see that, but we want to keep it stable where it is. So if that happens, the rand might gain a lot of value, and I believe the government might still continue selling a lot of bonds to foreign investors. Uh, Go on a tangent again. So now the projection basically are based on inflation data. And in this case, the Eurozone inflation, it's at below 2%, which the ideal inflation data should be 2% for it's called safe lending, I guess. Um, Now it's below 2%, and then they are forced in a way to cut rates, trying to pump money into the market so that we can motivate consumer spending. There is less consumer spending in that region. So now they have to increase consumer spending. And the only way to do that is to decrease rates. Once you decrease rates, what's gonna benefit? It's gonna promote consumer spending. You'll start to see the real estate market doing well, more buying of there'll be more buying of houses. Real estate basically in a nutshell will do well. So that is why it's very important when interest rates are very important. An example of that for now here, I'm just going to be looking at the US mortgage applications. But this is day by day anyway. It's either so day by day from day by day week. So this thing are just literally showing you exactly where we're moving when it comes to this stuff. I don't know if it makes sense. Today I speak a lot. Anyway, interest has been coming lower in the US and in South Africa has been coming lower, been benefiting from that. Let's go back to the chart. To the charts. I've already spoken about COT report. Please, for full chatting, guys, go to YouTube. Don't be surprised. I'm on YouTube. And then you'll see that all the numbers, all the technical charts that I'm looking at. So British pound against the dollar, I am bullish. I'm gonna add my limit to be honest. I'm gonna add my limit. I'm looking for the supply area to hold. So I'm gonna add my buy stop, my sell stop, sorry. No, my sell limit. What am I saying? I'm going to add my sell limit as it traces back to support. I'm going to look to short British pound against the dollar. So I'm going to short GBP USD, even though I'm already positioned on a short when it comes to Euro GBP AUD, but I would love also to have a bit of bite with GBP USD as well. Um, just to increase my risk when it comes to the Aussie dollar, but also Euro USD as well. Um, I'm really interested in shorting Euro USD. Also, I'm contemplating adding a sell limit as well there. I'm just gonna be thinking about it as we end after the live. Just think. So you basically use fundamental to determine your bias. Terminator, yes, so go to YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're on YouTube, go to YouTube, like the live, you'll see what I'm talking about. All the numbers that I've used the edge finder. But basically, yes, I use fundamentals to determine my bias. I specifically focus on macros, labor data, inflation data, interest rate. Just move the market in terms of forex. So use this as an idea. I'm just gonna explain this to you, but continue liking the life as I explain this to you. So how I use it is if inflation in this case, I'm gonna use the Aussie. If inflation in Australia is getting out of hand, Australia inflation, uh, let's speak about something that we see. If you're just jump on YouTube as well. This guy is laughing. And I may speak about the numbers that I see. I'm just gonna jump on the Australian economic heat map and give you the actual number, the actual numbers. So here for this February, we have seen an interest rate. So Australian interest rate, the previous was interest rate was at 4, unemployment rate spoke about the labor market. Unemployment rate was at 4.1. The forecast was at 4.2%, but we have seen a good number, which is 4.1%, which is decreased in unemployment rate, which is good. So, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is when you get, oh shucks, I didn't show this number. Sometimes I speak a lot and forget to show what I'm talking about on YouTube. But anyway, so when you get lower interest rate, which means there is more people working, meaning there's more consumers that are participating in the market, and that alone, it's bullish for the currency because now there's more people that are participating in the market. Doesn't matter what they'll be buying, but generally they're partic- participating in the market. Wherever they are consuming, doesn't matter. And then also this February at CPI, which is very, very important in this case, inflation data, CPI, consumer price index. Consumer price index, I spoke about a consumer in terms of unemployment rate. Now I'm talking about CPI, consumer price index, year over year. The forecast was 3.7%. We got a hot one today, which came out at 3.8%. That we got a very hot number, which it has beat expectation by 0.1%, moving that part still says the currency will still be bullish. And the reason for bullishness is if inflation is getting out of hand, it's forcing the Reserve Bank, in this case in Australia, to be more restrictive. And when they're more restrictive, it means they will have to increase interest rate. Number one, labor data, it says there's still more hiring. Number two, I mean, unemployment rate still says there is more hiring. We have lower unemployment rate. It's good for the country, but for some reason, it's bad for inflation. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not an economist to that extent, but what I'm saying is unemployment rate, we have lower unemployment rate. Inflation, we're still getting a hot inflation saying there is still more people. The market is still bloated in a way. Inflation is getting out of it at 3.8%. Now, that two numbers, when you look at the inflation and unemployment rate, it's telling the Reserve Bank to say we either increase interest rate to be more restrictive. And when they are more restrictive, here's the ripple effect. I wish I can draw this. I don't have a pen on my computer. But the ripple effect is we increase interest rate, which means hiring companies, can keep on can borrow money because it's expensive to pay back the money. It's expensive because interest rate is increasing, and when interest rate increases, it becomes expensive to borrow money. And when companies can't borrow money, they can't expand, which means there might be less hiring. Even smaller companies, they might have to let people go off. And when that happens, in ideally they're supposed to keep interest rate small stable, but when consumer spending decreases as interest rate is increasing. In this case, let's say interest rate increases, have less people that are buying properties, less people are borrowing money. Um, because interest rates are high, no one will borrow money when interest rate, for example, in South Africa, at some point, prime rate was at 11%. If it's at 11%, we have less people buying cars. We have less people buying houses. Now, uh, immediately after that, I spoke about the Reserve Bank, right? I'm just discussing the Australian part. Australia now start increasing rates. When that decreases, less people are buying houses, whatsoever will be spending in. Inflation starts to come lower. An ideal idea, and I love how Nick explains this. There's a guy that I've seen explaining this. His name is Nick. Let me just draw that on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you'll see that. Let's say let's say ideally this is 2%, right? 2% inflation. Let's say inflation is at 2%. Sorry for my bad drawing. Let me mark this here. Here we go. Let me do this, yes. Let's say we're at 2% inflation. That's a target that basically the Reserve Bank are hoping that it's called, others they call it a safe landing whatsoever. Let's say you're flying a plane. The ideal, as we are coming lower, let's say inflation is coming lower to 2%. They're not supposed to increase rates aggressively. They have to look at the numbers. And one of those numbers, unemployment rate, inflation data, PPI, PMI, all those numbers. As they increase rates, inflation will move down from 3.8, oh, come on, from 3.8 closer to 2%, and it will be coming down slower. But while still they're increasing rates, we'll continue being bullish for the currency. I hope I make sense. We'll continue buying the currency because if you buy, let's say you buy Aussie dollar, I mean the Australian bonds, then you'll be earning more interest. Buy Australian bonds, you earn more interest. That is why earlier on on the live, while I was still busy discussing a lot of things, I spoke about during the time where the dollar was losing a lot of strength, the US dollar that I mean, the US dollar was losing a lot of strength, was on a downtrend against the South African currency. We've seen the South African bond market, they auctioned about $2 billion in South African bonds. It's not that tricky, man. It's not that tricky, Terminator. Basically, the idea is higher inflation, increase rates to cap the inflation of getting out of hand. That's bullish because interest rate have to be higher. Higher interest rate, the currency is bullish. Lower numbers, lower inflation, they have to decrease rates to motivate consumer spending. If there's more consumer spending, lower rates, more consumer spending, the currency loses value because if you were to borrow here in this case, let's say inflation in South Africa, let's say interest rate moved down to 5%. For me and you who are consumers, who want to buy houses, it's good for us. But for people that are borrowing bonds holders, if you borrow the state money, you will earn less interest in your thing because you're not going to earn anything above 8% because currently interest rate is at 4%. Basically, that's an idea. That's overall what I'm talking about. But I hope you get it. Join me more. Go jump on YouTube on my YouTube. Like the live. Go to YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. I, every time I'm live, that's what I used basically to determine my trade ideas. I think that makes sense. But anyway, AUDK is still bullish. Who today have mumbled around? AUDK is still bullish. I'm gonna look for a retracement lower to support and look for that trade as long as it still remain bullish on the H finder. And then, as I said, I'm also on GBP AUD. But as we go to New York close, we have earnings today. We have Nvidia earnings today, which is very important, more especially for the stock market. Let's look at the daily trading and the daily charting for the day. Terminator, I hope you understand, brother. I hope I didn't confuse more. Because sometimes when you explain stuff, I tend to be confusing as well. I even confuse myself. What did I miss? Oh, Christ. What the hell did I do to myself? While I'm busy mumbling with Terminator, a trade idea came out and I totally missed it. Oh no, it didn't. Should I say it came? No, it didn't. It didn't retrace all the way down as I wanted, but that there was a possible trade for long trade. And I'm tempted to take a trade into news today, only if the setup comes up. So guys, to see what I'm talking about, please jump on YouTube. I've moved on into day trading. I've discussed my long-term trade. Nah, don't worry, man. I didn't miss it. Didn't come down all the way I wanted. I wanted it to hold a specific support. Didn't come all the way down. I want to show the charts on TikTok. I want to show that on TikTok, but I can't. But anyway, the trade didn't happen, so don't worry. Came all the way below 5%, 50% mark. Let's see. Okay, there might be an opportunity, but it's already 11 o'clock. Do I want to hold on the trade? To news today. I think the news will be the Nvidia earnings will be very volatile. Does anyone know what time is that? Yeah, jump on YouTube, brother. So it's like Le Ahor Fumo Capital. If you're getting into me, Le Ahor Fumo, the name, basically my name, I'm live there. And okay, when you get to YouTube 10 minutes, you know what to do. When you get to YouTube, just comment and like the YouTube and then comment say, pray I'm there, I'm here. Just do that. I will look, ideally, I will look for a trade on this low, yeah. Ideally. I will look for a long trade, yeah. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I need to take a rest. So I'm waiting for Terminator from TikTok to go to YouTube. Once he's in YouTube, will take me. When you get Terminator, when you get that side, please let me know. And when you get that side, let me know. And I'm just doing you a catches. I'll also show you all the macros that I was talking about and how the age finder basically takes all what I've spoke about, score it, and gives a bias, a fundamental bias. Could this trade be possible? That look, there won't be any movement. And what I don't want to be involved is earnings come, let's say it's a miss, we know that this might happen. Let's say miss come, we know something like this might happen. Just a very strong bearish candle. And that is a miss. Nasdaq will have a very strong bearish candle. And then if it's good numbers, one thing about earnings, Nvidia earnings that I don't like, and this is my own opinion, by the way, you can beat expectations by a few margin. And when that happens, but because of the forecasting expectation, the forecasters, where's Nvidia going? That might be bad for Nvidia, where you see a 2, 3, 4% down move for Nvidia. While if it's a good earning beat expectation by a very huge margin, and that might fall, but that might be very bullish. So I don't want to go to a trade just before Nvidia, and that would be after the New York close. That'd be after the New York close. So I don't know, and I have to go on a call for with our on our group where we discuss macro fundamentals. I'm doing a course to do financial statement for stocks, basic stock analysis. So I have to go on that call as we go for Nvidia. But I do have a trade markup. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I don't know if I will take this trade, to be honest. I'm tempted to. It looks good. Um, it looks decent, but I just I just don't like the idea. Let me see. Yeah, no. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on TikTok, follow me. Mm, Broken that support. Terminator, if you're on YouTube, let me know. I'll show you. One, if you're on YouTube, let me know. I'll show you the numbers that I'm talking about on YouTube. But also, you can watch other videos. That's where the numbers will be. And if you have any questions, you can ask on one of those YouTube. Just comment on those videos. Maybe I'll re-explain it. Okay. And I also spoke about it today. Nvidia earnings. Oh God. Okay. Let me just do something. 10 minutes. Are you on YouTube? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, so should I take a trade? Should I take a trade? Should I take a trade? I'm thinking. We're close, man. We're closing. We're closing. I'm not gonna. Okay, I've decided I'm not gonna take a trade because now will be market closure. Now, and once market close, I don't want to be holding a trade to Nvidia, man. I'm gonna hold the trade to Nvidia. Terminator, are you on YouTube? But are you still on YouTube? No. I'm just waiting for someone from TikTok to come on YouTube. Then I'll decide what to do. Terminator, once you get to YouTube, please let me know, brother. Then I can just quickly show you what I was talking about, and then I can jump off. Don't forget to like the screen. I'm saying the screen. Oh, English. Don't forget to like the stream on YouTube and also on TikTok, and we can call it a day. Can call it a day, a day, a day. I'm tired now. Yesterday I took trades and I went. Yesterday I think I took one trade and it was a loss. That's a trade, the only trade I took yesterday. Tim, are you still on TikTok? Or are you on YouTube? Just so that I know. Let me do this. Yeah. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, you're on YouTube. Okay. Let me show you this, man. You can comment on YouTube. It's fine. You can still comment on YouTube. But the numbers that I'm talking about, let me show you the. Let me show you the numbers that I was talking about. So here are the numbers, right? Australia now. If you look at here, we have unemployment rate. So forecast, that's what economists are forecasting, was 4.2, and we actually got 4.1. Lower numbers, right? 0.81%, going back and forth. So these are the numbers that I'm talking about, right? So these are the macros that I'm looking at, and I decide on the biasness. And when you look at here on the bottom right, um, there is what we call and a currency meter where it determines based on the macros if it's bearish or bullish. So that's what you see. But overall, coming during the morning, I get bored. I don't want to do all the analysis. I look at it when I definitely have to take a trade. Right. I come here, click on something called the top setup. Whether you look the impact or whatever, but for you, I'm just going to click here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, here we go. So we also have things that are neutral here, but I'm not gonna go to the neutral ones. So if I come here, click the neutral, it's gonna show the neutral. Ooh. But bullishness, let's look at currencies that are bullish. Let's look at currencies that are bullish. Currencies that are bullish and commodities. We have US all very bullish. US USD JPY bullish, CHF JPY bullish. Anything against the thing, it's bullish. It's bullish. Again, the Japanese yen is bullish in this case. On the bearish, on the still bullish USD CAD, NZD JPY, and also I told you that I'm holding NZD JPY. This is how the trade is moving. Where is the trade? I'm gonna show you now. Here we go. But these are long-term trade, by the way, that I do macros and determine. So this is a trade that I'm talking about. Let's see. Oh, I'm stupid sometimes. So basically, this is a trade that I'm talking about. Still, remember what did the H funder give me? Example, it gave me this idea to say NZDJPY. Oh, it was here. Where is it? Oh, NZDJPY is bullish. Reason being, if you look on the top of technical, sentimental, we have economic growth, we have inflation, labor market. But let's look at NZDJPY. Trend, it's bullish, correct. Seasonality, it's bearish. COT data, last week they've been selling the currency, forgot now, the New Zealand currency. COT data, we are bullish. Sentimental data, still bullish. Consumer growth, we look at GDP and others. With GDP, it's bullish for NZD, bearish, PMI is bearish. And then you see all this score, it takes out all this score and populates anything above above four, it's bullish. And in this case, came out above four, it's bullish. Anything below four, it's bearish. In this case, Euro USD and others. But for the trade that I have, just to make sense for you before I go on a tangent, it's NZD, JPY, it's bullish. AUD CAD, it's no longer there, but I was long on it. GPP AUD, it's no longer here, it has lost it. But no, it's just trade management. But still, on the Australian one, the micro still allows me to be short, given the fact that, as I explained earlier. But anyway, these are the scoring, right? And these are the trade that I have. Looked at the scoring, I went long on NZDJPY. This is how the trade looks like, entered on support. I just don't wait a lot of time. I went long on this demand area, and this is what a trade looks like on the other side. Uh, Here we go. Okay, let me see if it will allow me to show you the trade. Where is it? So this way I traded. Went in there. This is how it looks like. Exactly on that support. Look, sometimes this trade, it will look good and you think you're the boss, but honestly you're not. So GBP AUD current, I'm holding this to trade. This is how it's going. And I think earlier on I did say that the first trade, this way the first trade I took it on that support, and the second trade, we are there. We've just broken the 4-hour low. But also, all these things are coming down from the macros that we discussed earlier, from all the sitting down, deciding where the movements will be and where we are going. Um, I don't know. Terminator, do I make sense? I can call it a day. Terminator. Did you see everything that I was discussing? You can comment on YouTube if you're on YouTube, then I can call it a day. I still have to catch a live stream. I don't know where this guy is. I don't know if he's seeing that. You can tell me on YouTube if it makes sense, my brother. Sometimes I lose track of time. Okay, I don't know what Terminator is. I hope you saw this. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. Okay. I'm interested in USD JPY. I see that is bullish now. Yeah, yeah, man. I'm thinking of taking longs here. A retracement book. No, it's not necessarily my own software. I bought it, Terminator. I bought it. I bought it. It's called the H Finder. I might start selling it very soon, but it's expensive. It's expensive. The total price, if there's no discount, is 500 and something US dollars. With a discount, yeah, you get sometimes 45% discount, 50% discount, depending. But anyway, I'm thinking of long USD JPY. I'm just, yeah, I'm just gonna be watching USD JPY, yeah, on that resistant area. So resistant area, I'm gonna look for longs, and reason being, let me see if this thing to allow me because earlier on it was acting up. There we go. And reason being, it's because uh, and USD JPY it's giving a bullish reading, and it's a +7, which is a good reading. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna long as it holds that support. If it gives me a good retracement, I'm gonna long it. So man, we've come to the end of the show today, man. I won't be trading live. It's not like I'm gonna take a trade during Nvidia, and I don't wanna be holding position during Nvidia in terms of day trading. So I'm gonna end here and join my buddies on the live where we'll be discussing Nvidia earnings and see what's gonna happen. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen, for Nvidia if you're holding any positions with Nasdaq and S&P 500 or any stocks day trading, more especially. Good luck. Be safe. If you'll be gambling safe. But good luck. Be safe with Nvidia earnings. Enemies with Nvidia earnings. All hell will break loose, and it might confirm the economists and other people that are calling that we are in an AI bubble. They might assume that the bubble has busted, just burst if earnings are bad, and that like we might have a 10%, 15% down move on Nasdaq, on S&P 500. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Nvidia might drag down the entire Nasdaq, including S&P 500 and the others. But let's see. Good luck, guys. I truly appreciate you all joining me. Um, See you tomorrow between 8 and 8:30. I will start our live, and be safe out there. Be safe out there. Let's see what happens tonight. As I said, play safe, and some of the stuff I'll do it later, and I'll see you tomorrow on the live. Thank you so much. I might be more live also on TikTok, just but if you wanna, so if you're on TikTok, want to see a full chatting and everything that I'm talking about, jump on YouTube, like my live, jump on YouTube, subscribe there, and click the notification bell so that when I'm live, you can see everything that I'm talking about. And that, have a great day, guys. Good night if you're in South Africa. Good day wherever you are in the world. And I love you all. Bye.